Hi, and welcome to Chapter 10, Learning Objective 5. In this learning objective, we're going to talk about those things which cause shifts in the labor, the labor demand curve. Okay, things that cause it to shift either outward or inward. So changes in the demand for labor. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. And I'll share my screen with you. Okay, so remember that when we're talking about the labor demand curve, we have, and we're talking about all labor here, the quantity of labor demanded, the wage rates, and then we have the demand for labor. So one thing which will cause, the first thing which will cause the demand of labor to shift outward and to the right is the output price of the product or the market price of the product or the service. If the output price of the product or the service increases, then the demand for labor in that market will shift outward. If the price of the product or service decreases, then the demand for labor will shift inward. Technological change is the second shifter, which will make the demand for labor either shift outward or inward. And again, when talking about human capital in our last objective, that can also impact technological change. So if we look at industries that have had very little technological change, then we're not going to see a lot of shift from that. But if, for example, it's difficult many times to think about there we go. To think about a job where you're not going to have some kind of computer interaction. But technological change can be beneficial or it can be detrimental. So if technological change increases, meaning you need to have more technological skills, one of the things that we will see, and this is a domino effect, is if the technology changes and you need more skills and abilities to have that job, it's going to be an inward shift of the demand for labor at the current labor, but it's going to be in shiftward outward for the demand for labor with those human skills that can now do the job because of the higher technological change. I'll be perfectly honest, COVID-19 has impacted teaching, particularly because of the technological change, being able to do this kind of thing on Zoom, edit videos, things like that. So technology changed very rapidly. A lot of seasoned faculty members chose not to go with that technological change, whereas others, like myself, have had to learn things very quickly, increase our human capital to be part of the new labor force going forward after COVID-19. Technological change can also replace workers, okay, which is very similar to what we're going to see in the next one. But if the technological change enables a machine now to do what labor used to, then we're going to see the demand for labor shift inward. But at the same time, the supply of other factors of production machines would shift outward. So it's just kind of a reapportionment, if you will, between the factors of production. Another one is the supply of the other factors of production. Again, very similar to what I've just talked about. So if capital, meaning machines, increases, we don't need then as much labor, so labor would decrease. So it can be a synergistic effort in terms of the technological change of increasing the human skills, or it could be a trade-off between one factor of production, capital, machinery, to replace another factor of production, labor. Okay, so that's the end of this learning objectives. Again, I'm trying to keep them pretty short for you so you can work your way through them. What we're going to talk about in the next objective is the competitive market, perfectly competitive market. And we're going to talk about the equilibrium wage and what exactly does that mean? How is it derived? And having that background of equilibrium price and quantity, you can kind of see where this is going, hopefully. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next objective.